name is Purnell. I'm from the great state of Arizona, the 602, you know. I am currently a junior at Arizona State University studying mass communications and journalism with a minor in African American studies. Today I'm standing in front of this portrait in Phoenix because Nipsey says the greatest human act is to inspire. I personally believe this, that's why I went to make this YouTube channel. I want to help inspire and mold Arizona by interviewing the dope artists of Arizona. So let's get into that, and when like, comment, subscribe so you can see more. Let's go. Everybody, I'm Purnell. I'm from Chandler, Arizona. I'm going to show you the great state of Arizona. We got so much talent right here in our backyard. Today I got my friend Karisma the PHX Kid. Say what's up, introduce yourself.
What's cracking with you? It's Karisma the PHX Kid. We're right here in West Phoenix, Arizona on the corner of 37th Avenue and Camelback. And we're just here to kick back, tell the story, and you already know it's good. Let's get it cracking.
Let's get into it.
Let's get a grip while we do what we do. Smoking bud, drinking brew while we stack this loot. What's the mood? Stay focused, don't get lost on the way. The strongest soldier recognizes when it ain't okay. And what's the mood? Get a grip while we do what we do. Smoking bud, drinking brew.
The first question is here with my homies. How did you get your artist name?
Karisma the PHX Kid?
Yes, sir. Tell us about that.
Well, my first name is Brandon, but growing up, that wasn't my name, Karisma the PHX Kid. I came up with that. In the neighborhood, they call me Little Brando. Because I have an older brother named Randy, and he's dressed with the army fatigues, the fucking Timbs, just all armied up, you know what I mean, ready to go with some military shit. And they'll see him, and they'll be like, man, that's Brando Commando, like, you know what I mean, some shit like that. They'll see me, and they'll be like, man, that's Little Brando, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, exactly, you know what I mean, little brother. But when I started doing music, I was going to the studios and shit like that, and every time I would rap, all the engineers, the one thing I noticed, they would always say, damn, you got charisma, you're very charismatic in music, you know what I mean? And I would always repeatedly hear that shit. And I was like, man, fuck it, I'm gonna go with charisma. And then later on, when I made the PHX Kid album, that's when I attached it together, Karisma the PHX Kid.
Yep, because you're from Phoenix. And
you gotta represent,
yep,
you know what I mean?
I see you, yep, represent 602.
You already know.
Yep, I got you. So can you tell us about your Karisma the Kid album then? And how many other albums you have? I think you have 2. Can you tell us about those?
Yeah,
how have you been doing music?
Yeah, my first album was The Opiate, and my second one was The PHX Kid. The Opiate, that one was more deeper into like my storytelling and shit like that, cause man, at that time it was kind of a dark time. A lot of my homies, you know what I mean, I was losing them to drugs, and you know what I mean. And at that time, my mom's kidneys just failed. I had donated to her. And I was going to college too at that same time. So it was like real dark, but also very inspiring though.
Right.
I felt like I had to take advantage of life. Right. You know what I mean? We're not here. You don't ever know when you have to go. So I feel like, man, I gotta do something right now. I have to inspire, you know what I mean? I have to do, you know, so I dropped the Opiate album just trying to tell stories. You know what I mean? How we grew up, what to do and what not to do. You know what I mean? You can't go further in life and progress unless you know where you've been.
Right.
You gotta know your history to keep moving forward. So that's why I came up with the Opiate. And the PHX Kid album, that dropped, I think it was like 2 years later. And that's when more I got into culture. I started studying my culture a lot and learning who I was. Yeah, you know what I mean? And that's why I had to represent the Arizona. That's why I named it the PHX Kid, you know? And if you hear in the intro of the album, it's like native instruments, flutes, and you can hear it in the music where I started adapting more into my culture.
Right.
And yeah, that's how it all came up though.
Tapping into like your ancestors and all that.
Exactly.
So you're Hispanic, so can you tell us about the Chicano history and more like about the 602 history too? How it's like Native American and Mexican. You kind of talk about that a lot in your album.
I was more in touch with my indigenous side because I have family that's Native American.
Gotcha.
I have family that's Yavapai Apache, but I'm Mexican. I'm Chicano, you know. But yeah, but like I've always was raised with that because my family's more Native, and I was always at the powwows and more in touch with that Native side. But I didn't know my story, you know what I mean? I didn't know my history with it, so I just fucking started learning more into it. I actually took a class at Phoenix College. I had to take what do they call them? The extracurricular stuff. I forgot what it's called.
Like an
elective.
Elective. Gotcha.
And I took this Chicano literature class, and I was like reading books and watching movies and how like Edward James Olmos, all the Chicano Mexican American movies is him. I started learning all the artists behind that represented our culture, and I was like, man, I could do that with music.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Literally, you do that all the time with music.
Yeah.
We got Nipsey, we got other people who like.
And you know what's crazy? Spanish ain't even our original language.
Right.
Nawa is our indigenous language. And because I listen to a lot of Tupac, I listen to a lot of Nipsey Hussle, right? And I hear how they talk about Swahili. And I was like, that's their original language, and that's what's my original like language. So I started getting into that, and I learned that, man, Spanish ain't. You have to embrace it, but that's not our original language. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's where I started getting into that kind of shit.
You dive into your culture, you figure out the real stuff, what's like whitewash kind of, what's really yours, where it came from.
And it gives you an understanding to the world too. You know what I mean? You see shit in a whole different way. It makes you have more pride in yourself. You know what I mean? You want to do something like, it makes me feel like, man, I'm a warrior in this world. I have to make an impact. You know what I mean? I have to, the music, I'm a messenger. I have to leave these stories behind so the younger generation could learn from it. You know what I mean? And know where they come from.
Like your music videos, like the War Story, Adolescence, the Warrior Braids, those all have stories to them. Just like in your music videos, it's raw because it's like you're telling a story. Like in one of your music videos, you had someone be a little you. Saying how you got beat up.
Oh, Lil Juanito, yeah, shout out Lil Juanito.
That was cool.
And see, even that day was funny because he was playing me right, and my mom just like, Mijo, you need to learn from this. Like, I went through a lot of shit with this boy because, you know what I mean? Like, but see, that kind of shit inspires like the little bros. You know what I mean? Putting them in a position to see like, damn, I could do this shit too. Because honestly, I feel like Arizona's problem, right? Like, the only thing is that we don't have Jay-Z's. We don't have, we have legendary people that did some big shit in Arizona, but we don't have people that fucking, you know what I mean, passed it like crazy, you know what I mean? So we don't have that inspiration like, damn, these fools did it, I could, you know what I mean? Like,
they don't have role models out here.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, we have legends here that, you know what I mean? But I feel like we don't have like the big dudes like Jay-Z's and fucking, you know what I mean, shit like that. You know what I mean?
More people to look up to like you.
Exactly. So I feel like, shit, I gotta be that one. You know what I mean? I'm really from here. This is my, you know what I mean? I gotta be that big bro and inspire. You know what I mean?
That's why I mess with you. So can you tell us what a righteous soldier is? You said you think you're like a warrior. You are like a warrior. So can you tell us what a righteous soldier is?
A righteous soldier. Honestly, like how when I was saying when I made the opiate, I'm not perfect. I made a lot of fucking mistakes in my life. And like, you know how in the Bible they talk about like different people, like some people made a lot of mistakes, some people were killers, some people been on drugs, but people change though. You learn from your mistakes, and I feel like that's what a righteous soldier is, because we're not perfect, we're not made to be perfect. So that's why I came up with righteous soldiers, because I don't come from the best, but yeah, I've been through a lot of fucked up shit, and I did a lot of fucked up shit myself. But you gotta go through that self-destruction to fucking learn who you are, you know what I mean, to better yourself. And that's where righteous soldiers comes from.
That's what growth.
Growth, hell yeah.
And I see that from you. I know you like 3 years now, I see it. Growth. Your music videos from like 2016, I think that's like your first YouTube video, you see growth, everything. That's dope. Okay.
Hustlers, we use our mind force to figure it out. If it ain't shit you talking about, then I'ma go ahead and bounce. Do it all, I stand strong from the strength within. Suck it up, yo, it's tough blood, try it again. We hustlers, we use our mind force to figure it out. If it ain't shit you talking about, then I'ma go ahead and bounce. Do it all, I stand strong from the strength within. Suck it up, yo.
So one of my favorite songs that you wrote is We Hustlers. I like the way you spell it. We Hustlers. HUSTLAZ represent, okay? You say we gotta figure it out with our minds. Can you tell us what that reference means to you?
It's basically like that's like how I said it. We got to figure it out. And we all have a pressure on us. It depends on where you come from. Everybody's demons. Like I know my demons. I know the kind of shit that I have to fight every day. So you got to figure that out. You know what I mean? And it all involves discipline too and being consistent. You know what I mean? Like I know every day what I have to do, what's gonna hold me back, and what's gonna keep me going. And I just have to stay consistent with it, and knowing in the back of my mind, like, yo, I'm gonna wake up today, and this shit can either hold me back, or I could either fight it and just, you know what I mean? You know, like how I said, you know, we have to figure it out. You got to use your mind to figure it out, because if you can't, man, you're just gonna be stuck.
Right, and our minds are powerful tools.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I like
and some people, it's a switch that you just got to turn on that people don't, you know what I mean? They don't turn on that switch, but you don't know yourself until you wake yourself up.
Yeah, and you have a powerful mind. Like even with the streets being raised, kind of, and like getting your education through Phoenix College, you have a strong mind, which is cool.
I was forced though to do that though, because I was like, the streets, that shit adapted to me, because I had both parents that are hardworking parents, but when they was at work, we was in the streets. You know what I mean? I was raised around fucking alcoholics, drug addicts, all that shit, you know what I mean? But while my parents are at work trying to make a better living for us, we was trying to adapt to that street shit, because that's what was in front of our eyes. But the older homies, they would tell me like, little bro, or even my big brothers like, little bro, I've been through all this, you don't gotta do this, keep going to school, like this is the new gangster shit. That's the gangster shit. Sitting in jail wasting time, letting time go by is not gangster. Like, it's up to you. And they would always put that shit in my head all the time, and I would feel disrespectful if I didn't do that. I feel like I was disappointing my big brother, my older homies, or whoever it was trying to tell me that. You know what I mean? It's like your aunt or your uncle telling you, yo, you gotta give, and you don't use it, and it's disappointing. You know what I mean? I feel like I had to make them proud. You know what I mean? And put on for all of us.
Right.
Man, one time I had a brother. We was sitting in his room, and we was sitting in the room drinking, and he was like, yo, you have a talent. You tell stories. Tell our story. I don't have that. I don't even know how to fucking really write. I don't know how to tell a story. You have a talent to speak for us, to use your mind. And the next day, he gets locked up, going to prison for 10 years. You know what I mean? And I felt like, damn, like that was me. That was meant for him to tell me that.
Yeah.
I need to take advantage of this shit.
It was intentional.
Yeah.
I like
you know
that.
what I mean? Yeah.
So you say that consistency and discipline, that's the key to win. So you talk about that a lot. So what are some ways that people can be disciplined in their life and be consistent?
Just gotta stick to the script. You know what I mean? That's really what it is. And you know who told me that shit? And it always stuck to my head? What, DJ Automatic. I was with the Dana Cortez showing them at the Suns game. And I was showing him my music. And homie's like, yo, you're dope, you know what I mean? But he was like, the main key though is be consistent. You know what I mean? And my bro always tell me like, yo, you'll drop a song or a video and then you'll disappear. Like, you gotta keep your buzz going.
Stay on top of it.
No matter
Consistency.
no matter what you do in life, you know what I mean? You just gotta stay consistent with that shit, because it's easy to fall off with it. You know what I mean? It's so easy to drop the ball, and then you gotta go back and get it again. You just gotta keep dribbling until you get that goal.
Right. Okay, so last question of this dope interview. You've been awesome. You've been solid. I'm liking it. Picking your brain, I like it. What are some like wise words or meaningful messages you can inspire to like people in college, people in high school to do better?
Just stick to the script, you know what I mean? You write them goals down and fucking just stick to it. And don't let nothing fucking fall you off and knock you off, man. The people who you surround yourself with is, you know what I mean? Not only that, but whatever it is, like, you gotta put yourself in that mentality and just stick to it. The only reason why I kept going is because I stuck myself around hustlers. I stuck myself with people who want to do something, you know what I mean? Don't get me wrong, I have my homies like, yeah, they ain't doing the best, but I have to inspire them. But I gotta find my inspiration too. And just keep going with it. Like I said, it's fucking about being consistent and staying disciplined. You know what I mean? That's what this shit represents too. Getting up every day and trying to lick your best and do your fucking best. You know what I mean? You feel good. You know what I mean? That's the whole thing. Just stick to the script and don't stop.
Thank you, Karisma the Phoenix Kid, for joining my interview. My very first one. Everyone stay tuned. We got more coming up with Phoenix local artists. But my motto today is, in order to grow in life, you need to learn, live, and love. So how can you incorporate this in your life?
Learn, live, and love.
Yes, sir.
Learn. I mean, learning is like learning from your mistakes. You live life, yeah, you go through bullshit, but just fucking, I take L's, but you gotta learn from taking them L's. You mean learning, living, man, don't just be living to live with no fucking purpose. Find your purpose and fucking stick to the script and go hard on it, you know what I mean? And love, man, just appreciate life. That's all it really is, just trying to appreciate life, living with a purpose and fucking sticking to the script and getting there, accomplishing those goals. You know what I mean?
Yes, I love it. I love it.
Hey, thanks for coming out to the
no
neighborhood,
problem.
though.
Thank you for coming out. I like it.
Shit.
But can you give everyone your social media, your YouTube, everyone so they can connect and follow you?
Everything's Karisma the Phoenix Kid. Karisma with a K, PHX, Phoenix, and then Kid on Instagram and Facebook. Check me out. And I'm on YouTube. Subscribe to my YouTube channel and her new YouTube channel too.
Subscribe, and comment. Put us on. Let's go. Arizona's up next.
Braids rocking gold and my poetry code. Make them understand our story, what a homie was told. Leaving hieroglyphs so the little homies can see. After demonstrating, lead that real wave of G. When the fentanyl hit the streets, dog, it all. Can't get a hold and running wild with no regrets in the sun. 602 the city where I learned to double my funds. Repeated the ring up over heat and start to get on my feet. The Phoenix Kid and serving something way better than G. Can't get a hold and running wild with no regrets in the sun. 602 the city where I learned to double my funds. Repeated the ring up over heat and start to get on my feet. The Phoenix Kid and serving something way better than G. Man, we've been driving all fucking night. I'm in the back all buzzed. The mini zip is passed around and while I'm